The hallway was quiet, but the air around you moved like something unseen had just passed through. A chill ran through your spine, not from fear, but from a presence, familiar but no longer alive. The lights flickered for the third time that night, and your body knew what your mind kept trying to deny. Someone from your house who is in heaven is trying to reach you. There's a whisper that lingers in the corners of your room, a whisper shaped like your name. You've dismissed it as imagination, as grief playing cruel games, but it's not. It's their soul, still tied to you through something that was left unsaid, unfinished, unhealed. They were once flesh and breath inside these walls, walking the same floors you do now. But heaven did not steal their memory. It only strengthened it, and now that memory has gained urgency, because time moves differently where they are, and the window for their message to cross into your world is narrowing. Something you're doing, or failing to do, is blocking the message from fully reaching you. A conversation you buried, a letter you didn't open, a look they gave you before their last breath that you never understood. Now that misunderstanding is cracking the veil between heaven and earth. God says, you are not alone tonight. Heaven's light has pierced the sky, and your home is covered in a thin mist that is not fog, but presence. A soul that once ate at your table, laughed beside you, wept behind a door you never opened. They are here again. They don't come with anger, but with urgency. There is something dark forming around your home, a spiritual distortion that cannot remain hidden. And only by accepting the message from beyond can you stop what's forming in the shadows. Your dreams have been distorted lately. Faces turning to smoke, laughter turning to screaming, and just before waking, a figure standing at your doorway, not stepping in, just watching. That is them. They cannot come closer until you open your heart to what they are trying to tell you. A photo has been moved. A trinket lost for years appeared suddenly. The sound of footsteps when no one was walking. These are not coincidences. These are signals. And the most recent one, the feeling that you are being watched even in silence, is not paranoia. It is a divine alert. Archangel Michael says, you are being contacted through the veil because something is about to arrive, and this soul knows it. They are not just visiting, they are warning. And what they are warning about is directly connected to your bloodline. A curse, soft in appearance, is creeping its way through your house, disguised as sadness and distraction. But beneath it is betrayal, a betrayal committed by someone still living, someone who pretended to protect you, but fed off your pain. This soul in heaven knew them, trusted them, and in their final moments suspected the truth but could not speak it. Now, with divine clarity, they see all of it, and they are pleading with you to listen. You've noticed someone in your house change recently. They are colder, distant, too helpful, or suddenly withdrawn. Their rhythm is no longer in tune with yours, and heaven is pointing its hand directly at them. God says, the soul from your house is trying to show you who you must not trust. They cannot speak in words, So they have turned to events, misalignments, and emotional static to reach you. Your spirit is the antenna, but your doubt is the interference. You were meant to receive something this year, an inheritance of love, of clarity, or even financial breakthrough. But someone is blocking it with hidden intent. The soul from your house sees it all, and they are trying to unravel the knot before it strangles your path. You may have noticed the clocks behaving oddly, waking up at the same strange hour. Birds gathering outside your window too often, electronics glitching around one room only. This is not malfunction. This is their energy making itself known. Archangel Michael says, the closer the message gets, the stronger the signs will become, and the more dangerous it will be if ignored. You are being visited, not haunted. This is not torment. It is protection disguised as persistence. The hallway where they once stood is the threshold. That spot in your home where the air thickens. Where you suddenly remember something and don't know why. Go there in silence. Listen, not with ears, but with the H behind your ribs. You'll feel it. Pressure in your chest. Heat behind your eyes, trembling in your fingertips. That's when you know you're close. The divine veil is thin there, and the message from this loved one will start to seep into your soul like warm wind through a crack in the wall. God says they miss your voice, not the words, but the vibration. Speak out loud, even if you feel foolish. The sound bridges the realms, and what is unsaid will begin to complete itself in your own mouth. Before they passed, they saw something. A face, a transaction, a plan being formed against you. They left this earth too soon to stop it. But now heaven allows them a single chance to deliver a message in pieces through dreams, signs, and emotional pulses. If you ignore it, the betrayal will strike when you least expect. But if you receive it, if you honor the signals, heed the strange, welcome the unseen, then the shadow forming in your home will dissolve before it has a chance to grow teeth. The message is not fully formed yet. This is only the beginning of its descent. But the soul from your house is persistent, and their love for you is stronger than the veil between worlds. They are coming again tonight. The signs will be clearer, and this time you will feel them sit at the edge of your bed, not to scare you, but to bring the beginning of a truth that could change everything you believe. The walls know what they heard. The ceiling remembers every whispered phone call, every hushed argument, every conversation that stopped the moment you stepped into the room. You thought your silence was protection, but it only allowed the betrayal to spread its roots deeper. There was someone you trusted with everything, your safety, your story, your vulnerability. But in the folds of your life, they hid something from you that should have been revealed before the soul from your house crossed over. They knew it. They watched it happen, and they let it unfold without stopping it. This is the secret the soul in heaven is desperate for you to uncover. Not just for justice, but because this betrayal is still moving, still shaping your reality. What they did didn't end with a lie. It created a curse passed through gestures, repeated words, and broken trust. Archangel Michael says, "The wound in your family line has a name, and it is the same name that keeps appearing in dreams, in slips of the tongue, in documents that suddenly vanish and reappear out of order. You are being pulled toward a revelation that must be faced. This soul once loved that person, defended them, believed in their goodness, but in the last days of life, something shifted. Eyes opened, motives were questioned, and now from heaven, with full vision, that soul is heartbroken by what they now see. God says, what you think was normal was poisoned. The moments you recall as confusing were actually spiritual ambushes. That sudden illness, that untraceable tension, that lost opportunity. None of it was random. The betrayal wove itself into your days like invisible thread. There's a pattern to it all. Notice the faces that disappear right before your breakthroughs. Pay attention to who calls you with concern, but their words carry a strange hollowness. They were placed near you not by fate, but by manipulation. The one in heaven was trying to warn you, even back then. They left notes behind, strange remarks, eye contact that lingered too long on a person in the room. Their silence before death wasn't peace, it was conflict. They knew they were leaving you unprotected, and that guilt became the reason their soul is now restless. You hear them in the ticking, in the knocks that don't come from anything human. You feel them during that exact moment you feel watched, but never afraid. That's their apology, their insistence. They are begging you to go back. Reread that letter, revisit that phone call, rewatch that video. Something was there that you missed. Archangel Michael says, the person who hurt you most didn't just lie. They realigned your spiritual path to delay your destiny. They broke a covenant, one made in silence, one born from trust. And now that covenant must be confronted. The photos in your drawer. Notice who is standing slightly apart, who wasn't smiling fully, whose eyes seem disconnected from the rest. That's the energy the soul from your house is highlighting. They are revealing not just a betrayal, but the spirit behind it. It goes beyond jealousy. This was envy fed by ancient roots, connected to promises made long ago and never fulfilled. And now, that darkness has found its way back into your house. It waits in the most ordinary moments, behind your reflection, under the sudden weight of sadness that hits you without cause. God says, you are not imagining this shift. The one who betrayed you is acting different because they feel heaven's pressure on their shoulders. They feel watched, exposed. The soul from your house is standing beside you now, arms crossed, waiting to see if you'll open your eyes. Something hidden will break open soon. A drawer unlocked by accident, an email left open, a slip of the tongue during a conversation. When it happens, you must not dismiss it. That will be the signal. That will be the moment the veil lifts for just long enough to change everything. And when it does, you will feel both pain and freedom. Because knowing the truth comes at a cost, but not knowing it will cost you even more. Archangel Michael says, do not confront them yet. Heaven is still building the full message. Confrontation too soon will only scatter the clues. Instead, stay silent. Let them expose themselves under the pressure of the light. Your sleep will feel heavier in the next few nights. But that's because you are being spiritually prepared for visitation. The soul in heaven will attempt direct contact, not through dreams, but through vision, a waking moment where you feel split between dimensions. In that moment, you will remember things you forgot, words they said that now make new sense. And behind those memories, the soul's voice will fill in what they couldn't say while alive. Their message is not just one of warning. It's a roadmap out of the spiritual trap you've unknowingly lived in. God says, you will feel like crying suddenly, not from sadness, but from truth touching the part of your soul that's been asleep. That is the soul's hand reaching out. Accept it. Let it break you open so you can begin the real healing. A storm is coming to your household, not physical, but spiritual. It will stir emotions, shift dynamics, and reveal what was hidden beneath years of false smiles. The person who hurt you may weep when the truth comes, but their sorrow will not erase the damage. Only your strength will do that. You are not helpless in this. You are watched, protected, and now you are being equipped. The soul in heaven is aligning with Archangel Michael, creating a divine intersection that is rare, precise, and explosive in revelation. The betrayal is deeper than you realized. It wasn't just personal, it was spiritual warfare aimed at your destiny. And now, the one from heaven is dragging it into the light with fierce urgency, no longer allowing it to hide behind tradition, politeness, or fear. Your house is about to change. The atmosphere, the people who remain, the energy that lingers. This isn't just emotional. It's divine intervention ripping through lies. And when it passes, you will no longer doubt who was for you and who was feeding from your silence. The air around you has thickened, like fog without shape, like time slowing just enough to feel unnatural. What you think is forgetfulness, distraction, or restlessness is the soul's unfinished crossing, trying to force your attention. They were supposed to move fully into peace, but something anchored them here, something connected to you. There's a spiritual cord still pulsing, still attached. It stretches from your chest to theirs, invisible but undeniable. It's why you sometimes wake with pressure over your heart or a weight near your feet as you sleep. Archangel Michael says, a soul can remain between realms when a final message is left unspoken. Not every spirit departs peacefully. Some are bound by unfinished business, unfulfilled promises, and the agony of being silenced at the end. This one stayed for you. The house has become a temple of signs, but you've been too wary to see clearly. That flickering light. The object moved from where you left it. The animal that pauses and stares at the empty space beside you. These are not coincidences. They are spiritual alerts designed to provoke memory. God says, the delay in your breakthrough is not punishment. It is a divine pause, so that you don't miss what's coming through from the other side. The soul is threading through the veil, carrying urgency like fire in its hands. What you receive next is not just information, it is inheritance. The betrayal you uncovered is only part of it. There was also love stolen from you, time, protection, presence. Someone rewrote the narrative around this soul's final days. They twisted what happened, made you doubt, and blocked the farewell you were supposed to have. They were scared you would know too much, scared you'd connect the pain of now with the lies of then. So they staged a goodbye that wasn't real, and the soul, watching from the other side, carries a scream that was never heard. You feel it in music, the one song that always makes you cry without knowing why. In sudden cold drafts that brush your neck when the windows are closed. In the sense that someone's behind you, just before sleep pulls you under, the veil has become thin. And that's not by accident, that's design. The soul is pushing through, risking the peace of the afterlife to deliver you what others tried to bury. Archangel Michael says, this is not a haunting, it is a holy interruption, a divine override of spiritual protocol. The soul knows the danger in delay. They know what's coming if you don't act, because you're about to cross a point of no return. A decision looms that will either free you or entangle you deeper into what was set in motion by the betrayal, and only with the soul's full truth can you choose wisely. They are showing you pieces now, symbols, times, shadows. Look at the clocks that freeze at the same hour. Look at the images that fall off the wall, always face down. The soul isn't just sending signs. They are moving through matter to capture your attention. God says, do not fear what is approaching. This presence is not to harm, it is to help. But the power of their energy may unsettle others in your home, especially those who were part of the betrayal. That's why some have been acting out of character, more agitated, more withdrawn, suspicious. They feel the presence, even if they don't know what it is, and their spirits are uncomfortable with truth knocking at the door. This next moment is critical. A visitation is near. It will come in light and shadow, an outline, a whisper, a rush of fragrance that belongs to a memory. You will feel both fear and peace. That is how you'll know it's them. They will not say everything, but they will leave you with clarity that cannot be denied. A name, a location, a moment from the past that you had forgotten. When it comes, write it down. You will need it soon. Archangel Michael says, this soul is a guardian now, but their energy is different from an angel's. It burns with memory, with love, with disappointment in those who harmed you. That's why their messages carry sorrow. They are still grieving the betrayal themselves, but there is power in their grief. It sharpens their purpose. It cuts through your confusion and reveals what others hoped you would never discover. And they are relentless now, because the clock in the spirit realm is ticking louder. Your house, your physical space, is being consecrated without your full awareness. It's why you suddenly feel the urge to clean, to rearrange, to throw out objects that feel off. The soul is guiding you to clear the ground for what's coming. God says, the soul's unfinished journey is your beginning. When they release their message, they will be free, and when you receive it, your chains will fall. But until then, strange things will keep happening. Sleep will come harder, lights will buzz at odd times. You'll think of them more often, not knowing why. All of this is the preparation, the divine countdown, the meeting of your worlds. You are not going mad. You are awakening. You are not haunted. You are chosen to carry a truth others ran from. The betrayal you've uncovered is a doorway, but this soul holds the map, and they are reaching with urgency, determined to finish what they started in life. Now, through you, Archangel Michael says, their urgency is increasing because you are nearing a spiritual decision point. You'll soon be offered a connection, a person or opportunity. That looks perfect, but the soul warns you. It's wrapped in deception unless you view it through the truth they bring. Everything will seem normal on the surface, but your spirit will feel sick if you try to walk into that next season without the soul's message. It would be a trap, one that binds not just you, but your bloodline. Listen now. Open your senses, because the soul has waited long enough. They're coming, through light, through sound, through memory. And when they arrive, you must not look away. God says, this visitation will be your fire, your freedom, and your confirmation. You will cry, you will shake, but you will also rise with power you didn't know lived in your body. Their voice will speak, not to your ears, but into your spirit, and your spirit will remember. Soon, you will not be able to deny the presence. Others may notice. Children may speak of it without knowing. Phones may glitch. Doors may creak without wind. This is the soul pressing closer, desperate to release what they never got to say. They are not angry with you. They are angry for you. And now they are ready to make sure that no one stops you from receiving what was always meant to be yours. The atmosphere has changed again. Something is close. You may not see them clearly, but the feeling in the room thickens, slows, sharpens, like time holding its breath before a revelation. They're here. The one who crossed over but never truly left. The one who loved you in a way others never understood. The one who watched your heart break and screamed into a spiritual silence no one could hear. Until now, you've been guided to this exact moment, and nothing was accidental. Not the pain, not the delays, not the flickers in your dreams. Their spirit waited for a crack in your defenses, for an opening wide enough to send the message they were never allowed to speak in life. Archangel Michael says, this soul has shattered the veil from the inside out. That's why you've felt headaches, pressure in the chest, flashes of light with no source. Their energy is intense because their love was intense, and now they carry a holy fury and a sacred gift. God says, what you're about to receive is protected. No one can take it from you this time. But it comes with responsibility, because once you know the truth, You will never see certain people the same way again. They tried to silence the soul. They tried to erase their final words. Someone in your past manipulated the story of how it all ended. They rearranged facts, burned letters, hid objects, and told you it was just grief, when your intuition screamed something was off. The soul watched all of it. They tried to visit you before, but you weren't ready. The betrayal would have crushed you if you'd seen it too soon. But now you are strong enough to carry the whole truth and not fall apart. In fact, it will make you unstoppable. The message is layered, coded in symbol, tone, scent, memory. It may come to you suddenly, like thunder behind your eyes, or slowly, like warmth seeping into your skin in a cold room. But once it comes, it will not leave you. You'll feel the truth vibrate down your spine. You'll hear it between words, in the space between thoughts. The soul will say it in the only way they can, a surge of knowing so deep, it overrides logic. This is not imagination. This is divine data. And it confirms what your heart already knew, that the pain you felt wasn't all yours. You were carrying theirs too. They loved you. And someone knew it. Someone twisted that love into distance. There were words you never got, and that was intentional. A person in your circle lied to you, manipulated you, redirected your heart away from where it was supposed to rest. Archangel Michael says, this person who caused the separation is now being exposed in the spirit realm. The soul is making intercession, demanding divine justice, and the person who caused this fracture will feel the consequence in strange delays, losses, and isolation. You'll begin to notice that this person cannot look you in the eye. They fumble when talking about the past. Their energy turns cold when you mention the one who passed. These are the signs. Their guilt is surfacing. The soul is giving you not just their truth, but also their permission. Permission to grieve. Permission to reclaim what you lost. Permission to speak their name without pain. God says, you are now walking with the power of two. The soul is anchoring to you until this is complete. You are receiving the download of their final purpose, and it involves your elevation. What they couldn't complete in life, you will now carry forward. Their gifts, their intuition, their wisdom, it's being transferred to you. This is a divine inheritance. You've already begun to feel it. You suddenly know things you never studied. You hear things others miss. You feel pulled toward people and places you can't explain. The soul is whispering routes into your future through your very DNA. This is the moment that changes everything. The betrayal is no longer a wound, it becomes a door. The grief is no longer a trap, it becomes a ladder. You are rising with both your strength and theirs. And they have one final thing to say. Archangel Michael says, the soul is asking you to forgive, not to excuse, but to release. Because their light is tied to your willingness to let go of what you cannot change. Forgiveness here is not surrender. It is rebellion against those who tried to freeze you in pain. As you forgive, their light grows brighter. As you release the bitterness, their voice becomes clearer. You're not doing this for your enemies. You're doing it to fully receive what the soul died trying to deliver. Now breathe. The Spirit is beside you. They are pressing their energy into your room right now. The scent, the chill, the flickering lights. Do not fear it. It is them, coming to complete what was stolen, and you are ready. You're ready to carry the truth, to walk in purpose, to remember everything you were made to forget. The fog will lift, the pain will shift, the timing will now accelerate. God says, you will walk in divine reversal. Those who tried to keep you bound will fall into their own snares. And the Spirit who lingered for you, they will ascend, smiling, because their final mission is now fulfilled. And you will no longer feel that hole inside you when you hear their name, because they are no longer missing. They are inside you, empowering you, guiding you, loving you still. You've just received what the living could not give, and what the dead refused to let be buried. Now step forward. Everything is different now.